I find that I'm kind of doing a series lately focused on the body image. I've talked about my plastic surgery, and something else that was kind of coming up while I was organizing my thoughts around these topics was the topic of eating disorders or body dysmorphia. So I want to get into that today and talk about what those things mean from the standpoint of being vibrational and finding that balance with your body and your spirit. Because no matter how you look at it, that combination of you, those two aspects of you, are connected every single day. There's no way around that. And so many people are struggling with that. And I think we can work out some of the issues surrounding that relationship between body, mind, and spirit, and how to find that balance so that you can live a satisfying life, because that's what it's all about. So today, I really want to focus on the psychology behind how we view our bodies and how things like eating disorders and body dysmorphia come to be, and then how to address them so that you can find a better feeling place in this life. That connection between your spirit, your soul, and your body is present every day in every moment, because you are a vibrational being experiencing a physical life. Focus on our bodies is the main focus for so many of us. There's a lot of challenges that come around the topic of our bodies. I know I've been talking about this a lot lately, but I feel like there's just more I want to address. And I do want to talk about finding that balance so that you can be satisfied being your vibrational self, living as your physical self, and finding satisfaction in the marriage between the two. Welcome to the episode on eating disorders and body dysmorphia.
I'm Dr. Williams, and this is my podcast. I have 2 graduate degrees in psychology, am a licensed mental health counselor, and an expert in the area of spirituality. I am devoted to living my best life and am sharing it with all of you. I'm bringing my expertise, education, and life experiences to you through this podcast. Everyone deserves to enjoy life, and that is what I'm here to talk about. Depression, anxiety, grief, you name it, we all go through it at one time or another. I believe there's a better way to come at these things than mainstream mental health care offers, and I'm here to offer you my perspective and dig into discovering how you can feel good no matter what life throws at you. It is my intention to contribute goodness to this world, and the content herein is how I do that. But one disclaimer before we dive in: should you decide to apply the information offered here, be prepared for improvements in your life. You may even live happily ever after, and you'll only have yourself to thank. This is Feel Good Now, the Dr. Williams podcast.
There are a variety of eating disorders as a diagnosis. You know that I'm not a fan of labels. I don't really like diagnosing people. I think that once you label somebody with a problem, it just kind of contributes to the problem. Once there's a name attached to the behavior or the feeling or the experience of, it becomes more of a real thing. And when it's something that you don't want in your life, that's the opposite direction that I want to take somebody in a therapeutic process. But eating disorders are something that come up quite a bit in the therapeutic relationship. A lot of people seek therapy for eating disorders. Even more people are living with what we define as an eating disorder and don't seek any help at all. They feel like it's something that they can manage on their own, or they just feel like it's not a real problem. But there's a lot of turmoil that comes along with this relationship between your body and how you view it or how you think about it. For a lot of people, we have to consider the social aspects of this because external judgments play into this in a really big way. If somebody feels like they are being judged negatively and they internalize that, that becomes their own judgment of themselves. And that becomes a belief. Now, when you have a belief about yourself and your body specifically, that can be challenging to uproot or to switch or to convert into something that serves you. Talked about beliefs a lot and how it really comes down to whether it's serving you or not. Well, beliefs about your body play out in a really specific way because your body is a physical manifestation and your thoughts and your feelings and your beliefs are all working together to manifest your physical reality. So when you have thoughts and beliefs and associated feelings about your body represents that in a physical manifestation. Your body right now, the way it is representing how you think about it, how you feel about it, and the beliefs that you have about it. Now, this goes beyond eating disorders. It goes beyond body dysmorphia. Anything that is a physical manifestation comes about in that same way. Everything manifests in that process. It starts vibrationally, and then it becomes a physical reality. So, if there is something about your body that you don't like, then you have a thought or a belief or a feeling or the combination of those three, which is not serving you. It's when it becomes an ongoing issue that we label it as a disorder. And I really don't like doing that. As a psychologist, I don't want to apply diagnoses to people. It's something that we are required to do. It's part of the job. And it's required by the government, basically. You have to have some kind of coding system. And it has a lot to do with insurances and money. And it's just a big, jumbled bunch of yuck, in my opinion. Because labeling somebody who's already in a bad state and already feeling bad about themselves and now having a name to put to it isn't helping things. The thing about eating disorders is that it all comes down to the same thing. It's all about alignment. Somebody who is in alignment does not have an eating disorder. Somebody who's in alignment does not have any disorder. And that doesn't matter if they have been labeled in the past or diagnosed or whatever. If you are in alignment, you're in the perfect place, you are connected to your source, and that is perfection. There's nothing more to see here. But we cannot talk about eating disorders without talking about food. Food is one of those things we like. We like to eat. Unless you have a belief about that food which is not serving you. And that's what plays in here with eating disorders. I have to talk about science a little bit. And I have a love-hate relationship with science because science is great. It helps us to understand our world. It confirms things for us in a lot of ways. It also is fun and exciting and surprising and delightful. And we learn a lot, and it pushes us to discover new things, but it also restricts us. And it also suggests investing in it in a way so much so that it can become a part of your belief. Now, when we apply this to food, it can really become a problem? Let's think about it. Let's think about the science of food right now. If I asked you to name 5 healthy foods, you would probably name fruits or vegetables. That's usually the go-to for most people. When you think healthy food, you think fruits and vegetables. Obviously, there's other healthy foods, but that's the baseline, right? Now, if I asked you to name 5 unhealthy foods, you would probably name things high in fat or sugar or both. And that is how we have organized much of the food that we eat in this healthy category or this unhealthy category. But that's not really the truth of it, is it? Because we also know that individuals have different needs, and what's healthy for one person might not be healthy for another person. We call those food aversions. An aversion is something that if you eat it, your body reacts to it in a negative way. And people often talk about this as in allergies. They have an allergy to a food. Or they just notice that when they eat something, they don't feel good afterwards. Well, my husband actually, I've been talking about this with him recently because over time, he has decided that he has somewhat of an aversion to dairy. And through the time we've been together, this has grown and it's become more of something. And I was talking to him about how he could change that dialogue and change the aversion. Let's just say he's eaten everything he's eaten for the day. It's the end of the day. And all of a sudden, he gets a stomach ache. He automatically relates it to anything dairy that he has had, instead of considering all the other things that he has had, or the combination of things that he has had, which could have contributed to the stomach upset. Now, I'm not saying that he doesn't have an aversion to dairy. What I'm saying is his thoughts and beliefs about it are contributing to the physical manifestation of it. If he did choose to change that and really wanted to manifest something else, he could. And I know people with food aversions, I know a couple in my life who have several severe aversions, are probably going, this is crazy. No, I really do have an aversion to this food. And I've been tested. It's been confirmed. I know I do. So I have to avoid that food. Otherwise, this happens. That is true. I'm not saying it's not true. It is true, but you're making it true because we create our reality. So all I am suggesting is if you don't like it being that way, you could change it, but you would have to change your belief, and that can be difficult. So going back, talking about the science, we have this mainstream belief that there's healthy foods and unhealthy foods. Now, when you eat a food that's healthy for you, based on what you believe, that feels good. You don't worry about anything. You think that that is serving your body in a good way. When you eat a food that you believe is unhealthy for you, that's where the problem is, because that is going to create a problem for you because you believe it is going to create a problem for you. The worst thing that you could do is eat or drink something that you believe is bad for you. So if your diet consists of a lot of those things because you love them so much, you love the way they taste, and you feel like you have no willpower, and you just eat them anyway, you have split energy. You enjoy eating this food, but when you eat it, you're actually not sitting in enjoyment of it. You are not in that state of satisfaction while eating this food because you have guilt and regret, and you believe it's doing something bad to you. If you do this over and over and over again, it becomes a problem in your physical body, and you start to see it happening, which then confirms that what you have been doing is bad for you. And now you start to not feel good about the way you view yourself. You don't like your body image. And then you start thinking, okay, what can I do about it? So some people restrict themselves and they don't allow themselves to eat at all. Anorexia becomes a bigger problem than just those foods that they think are bad for them, because people with anorexia see themselves as being this fat person who they don't like seeing in the mirror. And now they don't want to just restrict the foods that they believe have led them to this. They start to have a belief that all food is the problem. So they restrict all food so that their body will start to lose weight and get back to a state where they want to be. You cannot live without eating. So it becomes a problem for them. They get ill. They don't have any energy. It creates more issues for them. They have to eat something. And then when they do, they feel bad because now they're worried about what it's doing to their body.
Hey guys, I have some big news. I've decided to offer you guys some exciting interaction opportunities. Have you guys been over to the website, drwilliamspodcast.com? If you have, you may have noticed a scheduling calendar that wasn't there before. I am going to be offering some one-on-one sessions. I'm also going to be doing some interviews. So if you think you might be interested in having a one-on-one co-creation or private personal alignment session with me, you can go to the calendar and you can schedule a free 15-minute consult. Or if you want to be a guest on the show, maybe you are an expert in mental health or law of attraction, or you just have some life experience with either of those things and you want to share your story, you can schedule a free 30-minute pre-interview call to be a guest on the show. Because I told you guys, I want you guys to feel like this is your show too. So here is your chance to shine. I am so eager to offer my audience a multifaceted listening experience, rich with your unique perspective on life. We all have something to contribute. Let's hear what you have to say. And now, back to the episode.
Bulimia is similar. Bulimia, because of the purging, it allows people to believe that they can go ahead and eat what they want, even if it's those things that they believe are bad for their bodies, because later they're just going to purge it out. So they give themselves the permission to go ahead and eat it. And then afterwards, when it's in their body, they don't feel good about it. And they imagine that it is not serving their body in a good way. So then they go and they purge it out to find that state of feeling better. Now, this also contributes to other problems. People get problems in their throat, in their stomach, in their mouths from all of the vomiting. It's not healthy. It's not serving their body in that way. Obviously, that function serves you when it's there and happens in a natural way. But when it's forced, it creates more problems. What it really is, and the way that I would come at this in therapy, is by changing the belief about the food. You have to relinquish your attachments on the science of it and choose what you're going to eat and how you're going to feel while you eat it. You also have to work on your belief of what it's doing in your body. This is not an easy thing. This is a really, really difficult thing because food is something that is well studied. We have so much research out there about food and what it does to the body. But we also have contradicting results based on the study. And you can find results for anything based on the parameters of the study. Now, if we were to collect a group of people that practice law of attraction, and they understand how this all works. And they are able to practice their vibration, and they know how to control their beliefs in order to serve themselves in the best way possible, and then put those people into a controlled study on food. Those people could eat the types of foods that we have labeled as unhealthy, and their results would still be healthy. If they truly believed it, if they truly believe that the food they are eating is serving their body in a positive way, that is the result you would find in the scientific study. Now, doesn't that just change the way you look at science altogether? Once scientists figure this out and they start studying things vibrationally, it's going to change everything, and it's going to enlighten the world about universal law. Do you remember how years and years ago eggs were considered so good for you? Like, eat your eggs every morning. Eggs are great. And then it was, eggs are full of cholesterol. They're super bad for you. And then it was back to, eggs are good for you again. You know, it's science, but it ebbs and it flows, and it all depends on the study and what the person is wanting to find. You can find results for anything you want to find. And you can manipulate the parameters of your study in order to find it. What I'm really hoping to do in this discussion about food is to allow you to decide for yourself which foods are going to fuel your body. If you can eat food, whatever food it may be, in satisfaction, and believe that it is fueling your body, your cells will respond to that vibration, and it will fuel your body. It all comes down to that belief. A person with a problem with food has to start at the belief, and it has to be done incrementally, because this is a big challenge. This is something that is consuming time and energy and focus much of the day. So jumping to a different belief is not going to happen. It has to be done in a steady, incremental, small steps kind of way. And that comes with finding their alignment first. Everything does. Everything comes with finding alignment first. It's that split energy that is creating the problem. Because the only way that something will manifest in a positive way is if your physical focus on it aligns with your vibrational reality. So your desire and your belief and your thoughts are all lined up. When that happens, you will get the outcome you desire every single time. But if you are behaving in a way that contradicts what you believe, you're going to get negative results. And this applies to your body and the food you're eating. It wouldn't even matter if you are going crazy, exercising or dieting. And this is the reason why diets don't often work. Because your body is responding more to your thoughts than your action. Let that sink in. That's huge. Your body is responding more to your thoughts than your action. So you have to change the thoughts. But you also have to have the feeling associated with the good thought. Otherwise, you're doing the opposite. If you're thinking a good thought and you're thinking, oh my gosh, this donut is so good for my body, but you don't actually feel like the donut is good for your body, you can't reach for that feeling of elation or health or energy or whatever feelings feel really good when you're thinking about healthy food. If you can't find that feeling with the thought, it's not going to work. You have to combine the two. When somebody has an eating disorder or body dysmorphia, in any of those cases, what are the feelings behind those things? They're feelings of hate and disgust. And they really don't have anything to do with the body. That is just what the person is focused on while feeling that way. I talked about that in the previous episode that I recorded about body image, that when somebody is offering an external judgment of someone else in a negative way, whether it's them being fat or unhealthy or being conceited and vain, it comes from a place of where they are feeling in that moment, and they are just projecting that feeling onto the thing they're focused on. So that is the same thing that people are doing to themselves. They're in that state of negative emotion, and they're looking at their body, and they are projecting those feelings onto their body. The only way to change that is to address the feeling. And of course, there's thoughts and beliefs that are wrapped up in there. But if you can work your way up the emotional scale and come up from those feelings of negativity, because hate, disgust, feeling appalled, that stuff is really low down there. It's down there with depression. A lot of people that have these kind of diagnoses are also in a state of depression. And when they look at their bodies, they're applying that depression to the way they view themselves and their bodies. The only way to address that and improve it is to move up the scale. And the scale is directly associated with the degree of alignment you're in. The lower down on the scale, the more negative you feel, the more misaligned you are. As you move up the scale, start to feel better, the more aligned you are. And that's why alignment is always the key. And that's why I push meditation. That's why I believe in meditation so much. Because even if you're not working on your thoughts and your beliefs, if you can allow time during meditation to stop them, to stop thinking for a while, stop focusing on your beliefs, allow for non-resistance, because if you're not thinking negatively, you're lowering the resistance. You're giving your emotions a chance to gain some momentum raising up, because wellness is your baseline. Wellness is always flowing to you, to all of us. And if you're not feeling well, it's not because the wellness isn't there. It's because you're pinching it off and not receiving it. That is probably the most important message I could offer right now. Wellness is flowing to you right now. Are you allowing it in? You'll know you are because of how you feel, and you'll know that you're in alignment. And then, no matter what you look at when you're in alignment, you feel good about that thing. You would not negatively judge someone else if you were feeling good. You would see all the positive aspects of that person. Same thing goes for yourself and your body. If you are feeling good, you're going to notice all the positive aspects. It all comes down to alignment. It all comes down to how you're feeling. There's a whole lot of negative momentum that comes along with eating disorders and body dysmorphia. Lowering some of that resistance will offer you the gradual step in the right direction up the emotional scale towards your alignment. That's the direction to go. I also want to touch on body dysmorphia in this conversation, because I had already recorded an episode about my plastic surgery, my tummy tuck, and I am in favor of people getting plastic surgery if that's something that they want in their life. Now, I understand that it can become a problem, and body dysmorphia and people who are getting surgery after surgery after surgery, that is not an aligned action, and that is not what I am encouraging. If your action is out of alignment and you are taking inspired action, and that is plastic surgery for you, that's the right thing for you. And you shouldn't feel any shame about that. Now, if you are completely changing your body time and time again and not feeling satisfied with your body, that's because you weren't satisfied to begin with. You were not in an aligned state to begin with, and you will never be satisfied. You cannot change a condition and find satisfaction. The way you felt going into wanting to make the change will continue after the change. And that's what happened with me. I wasn't aware of this. I had a lot of negativity about my stomach before I went into surgery, and it carried on through my recovery. I did not tend to my vibration before my surgery. I didn't clean up my vibration. I didn't find my state of alignment before doing it. And I would do that differently. And I would definitely encourage anybody who is considering changes to their body through surgery. And this goes back to the conversation I had with the trans community. Same thing. If you are considering big changes to your body, let it come from an aligned state, because that is what will get you the results you're looking for. Then it's just something that you did, you find your satisfaction, you move on with your life. But if you were dissatisfied going into it, you're going to find more dissatisfaction on the other side of it. And body dysmorphia, that is coming from a state of misalignment. And it has a lot to do with your thoughts and your beliefs and your feelings about your body. So it's very similar to eating disorders in that way. I mean, it all comes down to how you're looking at yourself and how you feel about it. The work is all vibrational, you guys. It all comes down to the same thing. It's all from a vibrational standpoint. All of this. You can have the body you want, and that includes being healthy. That includes being attractive. That includes being fit. It includes being thick. It includes being whatever it is you want. Anything. You can have it all. The work is in the thinking. The more you refine your thinking, the better it will get. And I'm not saying don't take action. It's better to have a desire for a change in your body condition and you're making some effort to make that happen than no effort at all. But it needs to be easy. This is not something that you need to be fighting for. Discover a training that you take pleasure in, and then you will discover the enormous leverage of your thought. Your thoughts, very powerful. Do not ever squelch your desirable thought. If you are aware of something that you are desiring, don't let doubt creep in. That's just going to keep you in a holding pattern, because the moment you get that desire going, you get that doubt coming head on the other direction. And now you get no momentum going either way. You're just stuck. When you have the desirable thought and you become aware of it, allow yourself to believe that you can have it, because you can. It's yours. All you have to do is allow it to be.
That concludes this episode, but if you don't want to wait for the next episode to come out, I have more for you at drwilliamspodcast.com. You can learn more about me and my journey to podcasting, find all the ways to connect with me on social media, and there's a button to subscribe so you're the first to know what's new and upcoming. You also can shoot me an email at hello@drwilliamspodcast.com. You are so special to me, and your support does not go unnoticed. I want to support you too. This podcast is my outlet for growth, because when you teach something, you hold yourself accountable and apply the information in life. But the inspiration for these episodes comes in a variety of ways, and one of those is through you. I want you to feel like this is your show too. So send me a message and let me know which episode is your favorite and why. And tell me if there's a topic you'd want to hear me talk about. Your feedback applies to so many people, and your suggestion could change someone's life for the better. The best way to do this is by subscribing to the show and leaving a review through your favorite podcast platform. I really listen to you guys, and this dialogue feeds my soul. You say that you're a fan of me, but truth be told, I am a fan of yours. Everything is working out for each of us, and we're all in this together.